item 5, and it is similar in the sense of this is another programme that was funded out of the internal transformation fund that was made available through my budget. But again, we looked at the business case in some detail before approving this, and this is around an update around the digital mobile policing devices. Ian, is it you that is going to give the update?
Well, I'll start. Yeah. Okay. If you ask me any technical questions, it definitely will be.
Right.
Yeah. So, thanks, Commissioner. Project now is in its third year. So there are 4,400 Samsung Note 3 devices issued to frontline officers. There's a further 550 Samsung S5 Neo devices which are issued to business leads and back office roles that replace the old Blackberries that had been issued previously. And also there are 200 Samsung 8-inch tablets that have gone to our CSI's crime scene investigators as well. So one of the main features is an e-pocket notebook which we call Pronto. That gives officers their gateway to the most commonly used functionality, which is Niche, that I mentioned earlier, is about crime recording, and Storm, which is our command and control system for calls for service. All transactions go straight back to the back office system, so it's done automatically with immediate effect, and it records the links in the officer's electronic pocket notebook so that they can automatically look back at a later date. Just so you're aware that the number of apps that are now available on the machine, I've talked about Niche, which is on crime and non-crime recording creation. There's search and update functionality on there. There's Storm, which is the command and control system. Officers can be deployed, and again they can search and update their functionality on there. There are specific forms for statements, missing persons, which is a key area for us, as you're aware at the moment. Yep. For domestic abuse risk assessment, intelligence forms, use of force monitoring forms. They can do police national computer checks and sudden death forms. So the number of apps is increasing all the time. And the project, I think, of Notes also engaged in 2 Home Office pilots regarding disproportionality as well, which is another benefit. Recently, outside of the electronic pocket notebook, there's a number of other improvements. Improved email and internet access. There's now personal issue Bluetooth keyboards which enable people to speed up typing and their inputting. And there's also, after feedback from those that used it, the password is less complex, which has helped officers with their speed. So I think it's fair to say now devices are widely used by the majority of frontline officers, which overcomes some cultural resistance to start with, but I think we're in a place now where pretty much all use it. Again, some unforeseen benefits in terms of performance tool, but also in terms of gathering intelligence. Again, when we've been able to search officers' e-pocket notebooks, we've ended up uncovering harnessed intelligence in the past. One of the key issues for the business case clearly was about the amount of time that it would save officers going back to the station. When we've done some comprehensive analysis, it's saving officers 31 minutes a shift, so that they don't have to go back to a computer in the police station to update Niche. That can be done on there. And then there's a further 1.5 hours benefits from email, from Storm, and from updating tasks. So overall, for each and every officer, that's 2 hours where they're out visible to the public, not inside at the police station using a computer, and that's clearly a significant benefit. In terms of some of the barriers to moving forward, well, I think it's fair to say we're almost a victim of our own ambition. By opting for these fully integrated apps, it's taken us to a place that other forces have not yet gone. So we are at the vanguard of this and having to overcome some of the technical issues that nobody's done before. So I think if I sum them up in 3 ways, there's the complexity of the integration and the user experience in adapting to the new processes. There's making sure that the data is secure. So, because at the end of the day, a smartphone is in effect a pocket computer. Certain functions that you can use on a desktop are not straightforward in terms of ensuring security. So that's been another challenge. And I've mentioned cultural change. Officers are used to having their own smartphone and they expect to be able to do everything that they can on their own smartphone on there, but security doesn't allow us to do that. So I think we are challenging these as we move forward, and the force has invested in a testing team. So there's some practitioners and some technical people that are trying to push this forward all the time. We've had to increase the initial training to 2 days, and districts have been given both technical and other support from the centre so that we're maximising the use. And the influx of 550 new recruits is helping us because they're a lot more computer savvy and more technical than than some of our older ender officers, I think it's fair to say, including me probably. So I think now we're accepting the device and I think culturally it's accepted as the main mechanism for frontline officers. Next priority is to deliver the 2 transformational funding bids within timescales, and if there are more questions on those, Ian will be able to talk more about those, but that's predictive policing and the crime scene investigator storm access, which will allow us to move forward with the crime scene investigator, we're going to say it, digital regionalisation. We're also then looking to look at stop and search, and then there are, as are listed in the report, Commissioner, a number of other work streams ongoing to see if we can open up further opportunities. So just to give you a few examples, Skype for Business, a general guidance app that will allow officers to be able to get that quickly on the device, non-crime related mobile forms, duties for booking on and off, which will assist with agile working and other things, and various other upgrades that I could go into detail if you want. I think the final thing to mention is just about the special constables, and that the pilot will inform us on the option of rolling out those devices, which could be personal issue, could be pool issue, depending on what's the best way forward on those. I think that summarises the report, Commissioner, unless you've got any questions.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, a couple of follow-up questions. I guess I know that in terms of rollout, this is more advanced, isn't it, than the body-worn videos with regards to the numbers and the potential impact that it's already having, as you've sort of evidenced in that report. Perhaps a question in terms of the crime recording position that we are currently in West Yorkshire and all the work that's gone on to improve that. Do you think that this is one of the reasons why that might be the case, that's adding to that overall crime recording pattern?
Under the current structure, officers are now able to record crimes live onto our crime system using this device, so there's a real benefit and opportunity. So in our current change and cultural change around crime data integrity, when they're aware of a crime, frontline officers are now able to record it there and then expeditiously without having to go back to the police station. However, and I'll come on to in some of the future projects, the recommendations from the Magistrate Inspectorate Constabulary are that crime should be recorded at the earliest opportunity that a member of the public makes contact with us, and that is still usually routinely through the Customer Contact Centre and our crime management unit. So yes, now, but in the future, the desire would probably be by the time the officer gets to the scene, the crime will already be on, and they'll have access to it on the device, but they won't need to input it because it'll already be there. Yeah.
And you touched on there, John, then the cultural sort of change that this engenders. So are you happy with how this is being embraced generally? Yes, we know that the newer, younger officers coming in are probably more au fait with new technology, but obviously we have an existing large workforce, and it's very important we get everybody.
So the training accounted for that and went out through the organisation, accounted for all individual skill sets and experiences and equalities issues around dyslexia and age of service, as much to do with age in terms of individuals. There's then been bespoke and individualised additional training for those people who come forward, and it's very much been approached in a supportive manner because it is that long-term cultural change. In an organisation of the size of ours, of 8,500 people, every time we change a computer system, it's a huge impact for us. I mean, some of us remember the day of actually going from paper records to computer records, and then going from green screen screens to word-based screens. This is in that next phase. But I think there's a gearing effect that at the very beginning, very few people using it, and it was difficult. But as we've had the new recruits coming through, supervisors are now getting more akin to it. Actually, the gearing is stepping up to the majority of frontline officers now. This is their business. This is when they think of our systems of niche, command and control intelligence, they think of the handheld device primarily as we go forward. So it will take a number of years to get it absolutely totally ingrained throughout all of the organisation. But I think it's fair to say for the vast majority of people on the front line who are the primary users, I think we're quite a long way there now as being the primary method of accessing our systems being through this rather than being a desktop back at the police station. So as with all cultural change, it's not easy and it's not short term, but I think we're quite a long way now because of the lifetime update. And I keep coming back to that. A lot of other forces are in a position where they have to go back to the station to dock it, whereas we've taken a very forward-thinking approach, which has made it more technical, but it's worth it in the long run. Okay, and
the extra 2 hours then that has been assessed as potentially gained as a result of the practices around this. I mean, clearly that that is a huge benefit, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways we would love to add them all up and that would come to a single amount of officers who therefore, you could put out on the streets individually. The practical reality of it is it's helping us to manage the increases on the complexity of our demand and the fact that we've got less resources. But that ability to be visible within communities, an ability to do the job out on the streets or within community centres or within people's homes, is invaluable and is helping the officers cope with the huge demands that they've got on their time and their ability to balance the crime investigations, the expectations of the public and their administrative duties. So it's a really good step forward, but I don't think we're there yet to be able to say, and we can take that many police officers out of the front line, because it's cumulative amongst each officer on each shift at any one time. But it's certainly providing now, for the first time up and down the country, an evidence base as to the practical benefits of having mobile devices issued to police officers, rather than it just being, it's a good thing to do, it's more efficient and effective. This is building the evidence base to say, actually, what does it mean we can now do with those officers?
Yeah, and as you know, the purpose of the new recruits coming in, and hopefully further to come following the budget that I'll be setting in the coming weeks, is to bolster the front line, not take officers out. So that we need to make that clear. Just in terms of developments around stop and search recording, given some of the issues encountered previously using Blackberries, for example, can we have some assurances that the handheld devices will be a better tool for that purpose rather than the old, the current airwave system, which is a police radio system that we know will be replaced through the emergency services network anyway?
Yeah, I think this is where we've benefited from not being the first to use the Pronto solution, so that we've learnt the mistakes of others. So there are two things to say. First of all, there's a new chapter, a new version of Niche, that will come in February, and that contains a more detailed stop and search chapter. So the Niche will have the functionality there to be able to record it properly, and then there will be the stop and search app that we're looking into, and the mobile team are building that at the moment, so that will enable us to record stop and searches properly on the device.
And is that, I know a number of other forces are on what we call the Niche system. Is that, for those that are also developing the handheld mobile devices, is it something that is being developed just in West Yorkshire or potentially with some other partners as well?
Commissioner, not all niche forces obviously have Pronto, but those that do have built their stop and search generally in Niche. the new niche product that's coming out, it gets rolled out slowly across the country, so we will be one of the first forces to benefit from it.
Yeah.
So some of the others will probably benefit from our development of it, and because we've had a chance to look at other products that are out there already, we will definitely build something that is based on the good practice that's already out there, the good practice that we already do in force. And I'm quite confident that what we will have will probably be the best thing out there, and other people will want to take on our package.
So it'll be scalable in terms of the rollout potentially to other forces, PCCs that have the niche
Yes.
system. Yeah.
And quite often what happens is if you take use of force, for example, we developed that in-house here, and there are 7 forces taken that so far, but it's looking like up to 15 will take that version of that because it does exactly what they want it to do, and the stop and search won't be any different really.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, thanks for that. And then I think just a final question. At the end of the report, it talks about the pilot for special constables. Is there a more up-to-date position on that? Or?
Yeah. To give you specific numbers, 24 special constables will be trained initially in March on the handheld device, and then we're going to look at their usage to work out what's the best way forward from that. Is it cost effective for a personal issue, or should we look at pool issue, or should we look at it on an individual basis? And those findings will then be discussed by the Chief Officer team, and we'll make a decision on to the way ahead for specials.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. I mean, as you know, we have still a substantial number of specials, I think around about 600 or so, with some more in training. And yes, it's about utilising those skills and resources that we have to bolster that frontline capacity, isn't it? So that's good to hear, and I look forward to how that progresses as well. So unless you've got anything else you want to add to the report, I've got no more questions on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.